I'm pretty good at making beer disappear, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I can do.
That's a good magic trick right there.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
And Mike Combs joins us again this week. Mike, what'd you bring for us today?
I brought in a little Tree House from the East Coast, some Julius, which is a flagship beer of Tree House, and their new edition Summer. Pretty well sought after right now, so thought we need to give that a run.
It's just called Summer.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
All right. Do they have a beer called Fall and Winter and Spring?
Not that I've seen yet, but they got one called Green.
Green?
It's probably my favorite.
Like the color green?
The color green. Can's green.
It's almost as green as that wall behind you. It's very close.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of beer is that?
It's more of a citrusy IPA style.
Oh. Wouldn't it be called Orange then?
No.
Okay.
Orange Julius, which
Well,
you have in front of you.
That's what we have in front of us now. Have you had this before, Brian?
No.
You've never had...
Summer? No, I never even seen it.
No.
I think, yeah.
Julius.
I brought you in a Julius.
He gave me one about a year ago when I first started here.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the only time I'd even held a can in my hand.
Very limited.
Well, we can't really get it here.
It's brewery only. They don't distribute.
That's...
And I just sent you a picture of the entrance from when I was there last summer.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing.
All the research I've done, it sounds super amazing.
Yes.
Like, it sounds like a destination. Like, we've talked about destinations before. This sounds like a definite destination.
I'm thinking brewery tour.
We've always talked about it, but...
Start at the Alchemist, make our way over,
Well...
get up into Portland, head down.
That's just crazy talk now.
This is a guy that's done it. He's done these
that's
things.
True. Okay, so based on that, which one should we open and try first?
I would go with the flagship first. Get the base.
Yeah.
That way you've kind of had that first for comparison's sake.
All right. So, Julius.
Yes.
West Coast IPA.
East Coast.
I'm sorry, East Coast. Yeah, East Coast IPA. I think we've done so many West Coast IPAs recently that's just stuck in my head.
Well, that was last week.
Yes.
East Coast, West Coast. Rap battles.
That's right. Did you do anything with that? Have you got
Nope.
any? What? Really?
That would be expected. I don't do expected.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Too bad.
You do your own research on East Coast rappers. What is this? They're Nas and Biggie, and that's about
So
all.
Nas and Biggie, that's pretty much it. Sorry, Biggie. Okay, so Tree House Brewing Company is located at 129 Sturbridge Road.
Sturbridge.
Charlton, Massachusetts, approximately 60 miles west of Boston. Open, they got some weird hours. Open Monday, 4 to 8, Tuesday, 2 to 8, Wednesday through Friday, noon to 8, Saturday, 11 to 9, Sunday, noon to 6. So, Untapped has ranked this brewery the 8th best brewery in the country. So, top 10 best brewery in the country. For zero distribution. You cannot get this at a store.
Cannot.
You cannot buy this at the whatever the Piggly Wiggly is down the street or whatever their Safeway. You like that Piggly Wiggly?
Yep.
Do they still have those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do
No
they?
kidding.
Yep.
They still have Piggly Wigglies. I was just making that up.
Down south, I've seen them.
Hinky Dinky, Jack and Jill's.
I
These
saw
are
him
all,
in Wisconsin.
I don't think Hinky Dinky is around
No.
anymore, but yeah.
Jack and Jill's. Did you ever go to a Jack and Jill?
Of course.
Yeah,
I remember Jack and Jill.
that was a Nebraska
Had
thing.
one in my hometown.
Yeah.
Glenwood.
Oh, so it was an Iowa thing too.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're old. You have to remember this.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know how old we are? This is. I think I told one of you guys this yesterday. Maybe I told Dolan. I was listening to the radio the other day. For whatever reason, I can't remember why. And there was a commercial with Mary Lou Retton talking about menopause.
Okay. That's old.
We're
old.
We're old.
She was America's sweetheart for a while there, Dolan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
84 Olympics.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think that was right. 84.
84. 81 gold and 84. Wow. Yeah. And now she's talking about menopause on the radio. Here's old age, boys.
Oh, boy, yeah. Cheers.
Old
to that.
age.
That smells amazing, doesn't it?
Here's to young age.
Here's the... Shut up, Dolan. Oh, my gosh, that is so good. Gosh, that is so good.
Yep.
It's the epitome of East Coast IPA. It's everything that I would want from an East Coast IPA.
Well, that's just your favorite style
It
anyway.
is.
So,
It is.
Yeah.
I think I'm coming to learn that about myself. Anything West Coast IPA is disgusting.
Not
East
his-
Coast,
wow.
I've
Disgusting.
enjoyed.
He actually went there. He actually
Yeah,
said
disgusting.
They actually call these juice bombs
Juice
in
bomb.
the East Coast. And you know, funny thing with Treehouse. So before they moved over to their current location in Charlton, they were in Munson, and it was actually started in an old barn. There was a couple of grandkids that decided to start the brewery up,
Yep.
and their grandpa gave them the barn space and the land, and they ran out of the barn forever. When you'd show up, it was an old, broke-down looking barn with a couple of pots outside, and they'd have lines wrapped all the way around the building, parking in fields. It was a country gravel road to get up to it.
Really?
And so they would have bags and cornhole, or same thing.
Sure.
Just a bunch of different yard games outside while you're waiting in line. Bring your dogs. It's a very pet-friendly place. You'd see families just sitting out there because the line can be 2 to 3 hour waits.
Jeez.
So when they moved over, same idea, and people from all over the country come to this, and they're bringing beers for trade bait to try to, because some of the more limited ones, there may be 60 cases, and once it's out, it's out.
It's done.
And so they would sit outside and trade heady toppers, different Bissell Brothers, you name it, trying to trade, 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s,
Yep.
just to get one of the beers out of the limited runs.
I read this on the internet, so whether or not it's true, I don't know. Everything on the internet is true, I thought, but one of the guys that started it, I don't know which one, told his wife that, hey, we're gonna make beer in the barn or whatever, and she said, you can go do whatever you want, and so they did whatever they wanted. And normally, if your wife says go do whatever you want, you probably shouldn't do that, but in this case, he did.
It worked out.
And it worked out.
In this case, it worked out to the extent that I think this facility cost about $20 million to build, and they paid for it in cash without ever distributing a single beer outside of their property.
Outside the property. Here's what was interesting. So, like you've talked about, it was founded in 2011, located in Monson. Let's see, so before they moved into their current site in 2017, Treehouse non-distributing brewery. You can only buy it on site. The first site was only a 2.7 acre farm. That's it. And so then they moved in 2013. It seems like they've had some zoning issues.
I did more research on this brewery than I've done on this entire run. I know I have a shit ton of research about this stuff.
Hit us with it.
I
because
read articles from like the local newspaper.
Really?
Yeah.
I really want to know because it seems like they've had some.
There was
issues.
one guy, there was a farmer, a neighbor, and he was very mad because he felt like this was not supposed to be commercialized area, and there was all this traffic and there was all these people, and he's the one that basically caused a stink in the town and basically forced him out. From what I understand, when they moved from, what was it, 2016, is that what you said? 2013 to 2016?
Yeah.
So the production was 13,000 barrels, and now it's like 150,000 barrels is what they're up to.
Wow.
They got a $7.7 million tax-exempt bond from the town, which was half the cost. They spent $18.5 million total, but they got $7.5 million from the city. Who said, "Hey, here you go, bring some people in." That's
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
One of the founders, one of the three guys, name's Dean Rohan. And he was a physical therapist assistant. That's what his degree is in.
Yeah.
And when he graduated school, he didn't even pick up his degree. He was just like, peace, I'm out of here. And then recently, the committee, there's some committee in this area where he's from, they recognized him as like businessman of the year sort of situation. He's the face of the brewery. He finally got his degree. They brought it to him. The dean of the school was there that gave him the award.
They dropped it off for him. Hey, you might need this. No, I don't think I need this anyway. I'm not going to use this. Interesting. So Mike has handed me a photo. Mike, what's your connection to this part of the country?
So my sister lives right there. I've got half my family's East Coast, throughout Connecticut up to Portland, Maine area. My sister and her husband live about an hour from Treehouse. They were really big fans. So when I went out a couple of years ago, they told me it was a must run.
Yeah.
And so we went up there, saw it, and that was when it was at the old facilities in Munson,
Okay.
and just been blown away by it ever since.
Interesting. So they are, I did same sort of research there. So in 2019, Treehouse announced the purchase of a 100-acre farm in Woodstock. So they're expanding out past where they're at right now then.
Yeah.
Even.
And what they've done now is they've revamped the entire distribution process on site. It used to be that you would park, line up, wait in line for an hour and a half, 2 hours to get up there. They have a tap room on site, so a lot of people would keep somebody in line, go up, get a few beers, go back, circle through. It was on a ticket basis.
Interesting.
And so now they've revamped everything to where you come through the backside. They expanded on. Since I was there last summer, they've about doubled the facility size.
Jeez.
So people can come around back, and it can be more of a walk-through. It's a total ticket system, so they give you a ticket with the beers. You put down how many you want of each. They give you max limits on everything. Julius usually has the highest limit, being the flagship.
Because they produce the most of it or whatever.
Yeah, Julius is available pretty much every day.
Interesting.
It sounds like Weld Works.
Same sort of deal, yeah.
You walk in there and there's a paper with 8 kinds of beer on it with a limit on the side, and you write on it and you hand it to the bartender.
Yeah, exactly. Brian, what did you... I'm just fascinated by their growth and their popularity only being a non-distributing brewery. I mean, did you do any research on that at all? Like why they chose to go that route or...
Well, the research I did, I wanted to find out why it's something that we know about. Like, how come we know about that out here, right? So, I looked at Beer Advocate, and I got a list of the top 15 beers in the United States, right?
Okay.
So number 15 is Pliny.
Wow.
14 is CBS, which is the Canadian breakfast from Founders.
Yep.
There's SR71, which is a stout from Toppling Goliath.
Oh.
Number 12 is Fundamental Observation. 11 is, here we go, Treehouse beer, King Julius.
Yep, that's a variation of their Julius.
Number 10, Very Hazy from Treehouse. Number 9, Bourbon County. Number 8, Morning Delight from Toppling Goliath. 7, King Julius. 6, Pliny the Younger. 5, Heady Topper. 4 is Barrel Aged Abraxas from Perennial. Down, I think that's in St. Louis. Hunapa from Cigar City. That's their Imperial Stout. That's number 3.
Oh.
This one's fun. Marshmallow Hangee. Hangee from Three Floyds. And then Kentucky Brunch Bourbon Stout from Toppling Goliath. So there's 3 Toppling and there's 3 of this brewery in the top 15 in the United States is what they say. So that word spreads around and gets to the trading groups and the buying groups. And if you know anybody that knows anything about beer, they've at least talked about this before.
Sure.
So I think just word of mouth spreads. That probably has something to do with how their stuff was set up in the situation with the zoning and whatnot. And I think probably just distribution's a pain. And this is the way you can get your freshest beer out. Your best product is from the brewery, not sitting in some warehouse for 2 months.
True. Or
That would be my guess.
on a store shelf or whatever.
Right. I mean, let's use the Casual Pint for an example. I'm not putting them on blast by any mean, but they have IPAs sitting on a shelf. There's no refrigeration or cooler, and a lot of them. I've been to Hy-Vee's before, where there's a whole pallet of Toppling Goliath IPAs just sitting on the floor, like not in a cooler or anything like that. So you want to control your product, and especially if it's as good as this, you don't want it going to somewhere you can't control.
Yeah, and with Treehouse, they stamp their cans on the date. So I've shown Rich the summer, and you can look at the Julius. They're stamped from the day that they're actually poured out right down to the time.
To the second.
Yep.
So the bottom of the summer beer says, when I met you in the summer, 7/16/19 at 7:52:08.
So the beer's not even a month old yet.
Yeah.
That's more detailed than what I can tell you my kid was born. I don't know the seconds.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
I barely remember it.
7:52:08. Gosh, that's all right.
That's impressive.
The can of beer early in the morning, and then it's out the door probably that same day. I would
Could
assume.
be.
Correct.
That's interesting. We've talked about some interesting breweries over the years over the episodes, and stuff. This might be one of the most interesting ones out of them yet.
I think so.
Just out of the story, where they came from, how they. Now you said 3 founders. I found 4.
Yeah, the little articles I read was three homebrew bros.
There was one article that I found outside, and it was linked back to Wikipedia. So take that for what it's worth. So there's Dean Rohan, Nate Lanier, Jonathan Weisbach, who's the name that the Jonathan Weisbach name is the one that I didn't run into any other place.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one either.
And then Damien Goodrow. Goodrow seems like a
Goodrow, like with a UX or something?
with an REAU.
Like Skid Row?
Oh, okay.
Not like Skid Row.
Nothing's like Skid Row.
Like Louisiana Row.
Like Louisiana Row, like Cajun Row, not like I remember you or Skid Row, but no,
Oh, here we go. Here's a picture of the actual facility.
Youth Gone Wild. So yeah,
It's very modern looking.
the inside is very modern.
What's this
looking.
big tent looking building out here? Pavilion.
It's where you hang out.
So that
before.
pavilion's an area. Sometimes they'll actually have live bands. Sometimes they'll have different performing acts that'll come in. They've had magicians out there.
Yep.
I'm pretty good at making beer disappear, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I can do.
It's a good magic trick right there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I've made
Wow.
mine disappear quickly. So.
This is a long line.
You say you got more of these in your fridge? Is that
I
what
do.
you're saying? I see the picture.
And I've got variations in my fridge. I've got Doppelganger. I've got Very Hazy. Number 10, I think, on Beer Advocate.
Oh,
Wow.
holding out on us maybe.
I've got
I mean,
Lights
well-
On, another variation. I mean,
First taste free, and then you're hooked.
Well, then you got to pay for it. Yeah,
Then
exactly.
you got to pay for it.
I
That's smart.
understand.
Smart business.
I understand how that is. I understand. So, all right. So let's open the next one, and then Brian, I want you to hit me with your non-East Coast rapper knowledge.
That's right.
Whatever you got for us, and look at
It's a lot lighter in color.
It is a lot lighter.
Boy, you're a hard pourer.
I wanted to open it up a little bit.
Goodness.
This is a trick that I learned from my friends. So
There you go.
I wanted to open it up just a little bit and let it sit, but let it open up and don't drink too much. You got to save some for Seidner, and he will be mad. If you
Correct.
don't.
I want to see him
I'm
cry.
trying not to drink all of this on the Julius.
Oh
over
no,
here.
he's had that one before.
Oh, he has.
You can drink that.
Oh, so
one.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
you can crush that
Yes.
one.
All right.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna let this. Oh my gosh,
It smells definitely different than the last one.
floral.
And it looks very. You can't see through that at all.
No.
It smells like a wheat beer.
yep.
like a
Imperial
thick-
IPA.
an imperial. What does it say on the back there, Dolan?
It says Summer is an Imperial IPA brewed with the spirit and character of the season in mind, utilizing a grist
Grist, yeah.
Grist.
grist of pale malt and significant amounts of flaked oats paired with sunny American hops.
Grist.
Doesn't say what hops.
No.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
I just
I think
okay.
it's Mosaic and Citra, wasn't it?
Magnum, Citra, and Amarillo. Summer pours a glowing yellow color the glass and emits aromas of fresh orange juice, mango gummies, and clementine sorbet. The flavor follows suit, rounding out the immensely juicy and refreshing Treehouse beverage. The perfect accompaniment.
Wow.
I'm
You
having
almost had
trouble
me there.
reading.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
To a day by the pool or at the beach this summer.
No, there you go.
If you're lucky.
If you're exactly.
Otherwise, you're like, you just got this. You're drinking in a parking lot somewhere because you just finally grabbed a hold of one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Man, that does smell good.
It does smell good. All right, let's see. So I've heard from people that have had this out of your fridge that this is the best East Coast IPA they've ever had. This
It's-
right here.
Pretty close.
I would say I would drink it over the Julius.
You know, at first I thought no, but then it kind of mellows out nicely.
Yeah, that's good.
There's some bitterness. There's more bitterness to this one than there is to the other ones. To the Julius.
It's like
Interesting.
sunshine in a beer.
Okay, the second drink was better. It's like a sour, right? It takes you 3
Yeah.
to get
Yeah,
into
that's
it
good.
a little bit. Yeah. That's a nice little. It's a nice, refreshing treat.
It's very soft,
Uh huh.
which is good.
That is good.
And just flavorful. It
What-
continually changes throughout.
Imperial IPA, so just higher ABV.
What's it say on there on the can?
I would assume that's probably the case. Maybe it may
Probably
not.
in the eights.
It says, according to the Surgeon General.
Don't drink too many of these.
Don't drink too many of those.
Don't drink while pregnant.
Yep. And don't drive a car.
Yeah, you'll have to tell us what it says on there for ABV.
I'm gonna look it up.
That doesn't have an ABV listed anywhere.
Nope.
8.1.
Yeah.
So you were right on. Yeah. But then it says NA for the IBUs, and that's horseshit. There's bitterness to this.
Yeah, but that could be coming from that orange stuff they put in there. If there was extract, gummies, whatever. Could be the orange peel flavor you're getting.
What kind of gummies are we talking about here?
Not the kind you get in Colorado.
Okay, I'm just
So
making
not
sure.
the cousin of the hops that was put in the beer.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Those are good. That is really good.
I like it.
I think I prefer the Julius, though.
I think I do too. I see where their people are coming from, though. Like
This is more floral to me.
One thing that I've learned with the amount of Treehouse beers I've had is the variations are great for a minute, but I always go back to Julius.
That's how I feel with Juicy Bits.
Yes,
I'm like, yeah, those are fun to try, but I'd rather just have a 4-pack of Juicy Bits in my fridge.
without a doubt, that's 100% true.
I had their session version last week, which I hadn't had before, and it tasted bitter to me, and it was like a 4% IPA.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you would have liked it.
I probably would not have.
So I didn't buy that one, but I bought the regular.
I'm pretty. I mean, Juicy Bits is probably a top 5 IPA for me. Personal.
Yeah, it's
top
good.
5.
It's real good.
Right. If that's as
No,
those go.
I'm with you on that. Juicy Bits ranks right up there to me with. I'd still think Julius is better in my opinion, but I think Juicy Bits is right with it.
I think it depends on what you're looking for
Absolutely.
at the time. I think there's similar flavor profiles.
I think I like the summer better. I like the floralness of it.
Mr. Contrarian over here.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, you guys like that? Well, I like this one.
This one's better anyway.
And my thing is, I like the summer better right now, but after about 4 or 5 of them, it'll be just like every other one. I'll default back to Julius.
Yeah.
We'd have to wait a few years to get 4 or 5 of these, but
Yes.
that's a different problem.
Yeah. No, and I think you're right. And I think just time of year, too. With summer being over and kids back to school. And, just a few weeks back, I saw Oktoberfest on the shelf for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Adams and Goose Island both have their Oktoberfest out already, and it was early August.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just saw Optimator out, which, is that a year-round? Because I don't
No.
recall ever seeing it.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's seasonals are creeping. They're pushing. It's just like the store. You go to like Target or whatever, you're already to the next holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's happening with beer.
Yeah.
Well, here's this research I did this week.
All right.
Treehouse, that's what I went with, right?
A treehouse.
So the research I did is on the Treehouse of Horror.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
I was just talking about a poo. That's funny.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to spill my tea yet.
Sure.
but- all right, so Treehouse of Horror. Since 1990, there's been one every year,
Yes.
which was the Simpsons' second season on Fox. They didn't have one the first year,
They didn't?
1989. No.
Oh.
And they didn't have any when it was on the Tracy Ullman show back in the 86, 87. So we're talking about since 1990. There's been 31 regular seasons and there's been 30 episodes. Episodes 2 and 10 are the only ones to ever air on Halloween.
Okay.
And between 2000 and 2010, a couple of them aired in November because of the deal they had with Major League Baseball for the playoffs. So it was always Simpsons Halloween special was in November, which was dumb, I think.
That's kind of silly.
And I like baseball, but I like those too.
Yeah.
So I went through and I just wrote down a list of some of the things that have been parodied on those episodes, right?
Okay. All right.
And we can chat about any of those if you want to, but King Kong, these are basically movies or TV shows. So King Kong, Frankenstein, The Shining, which is probably my favorite Treehouse episode of all time because it's The Shinning, right?
The Shinning.
Oh man, that's so good.
With groundskeeper Willie.
He's like, what do you want us to get sued?
Aye.
It's The Shinning.
The Shinning.
The Raven, Edgar Allan Poe, The Monkey's Paw, Nightmare on Elm Street, Omega Man, that's another Stephen King deal. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Dolan's favorite, Ghost Dad, Bill Cosby vehicle, Grimm's Fairy Tales, 2001 Space Odyssey, Harry Potter, E.T., Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown was on there one year,
Oh.
Transformers, the old black and white Circus movie Freaks has been parodied on here. Back to the Future, Exorcist, most recently Coraline, and Jurassic Park. And then this year's is going to be heavy with Stranger Things, is what I was reading on the internet.
Coraline? I don't even think I saw that.
That was 2 years ago, I
Okay.
believe.
That's how I got my dog's name.
Coraline from the movie.
Yeah.
Here's a funny story about Scarlett. You
No.
all have met Scarlett. She was an intern here. My middle child, who's a senior in high school, we took her to see Coraline. What year did that even come out? Probably
I don't know. I actually didn't get my dog's name from there.
Early 2000s.
Mid-90s,
Early,
late
somewhere
early
in there.
2000s. So she was young. She was younger. Anyway, I made the mistake of letting her have like Dr. Pepper that day too. So not only, and then Sarah and I are divorced, and so she went back to her mom's house, and not only could she not go to sleep, but then when she went to sleep, she had dreams, she had nightmares about Coraline. So I got a super angry phone call the next day.
I have
Yes.
hesitated to have my kid watch it for the same reason.
Don't. It's save that one for a bit.
You know, have you ever seen the movie Paranorman?
Yes.
Very similar. That's my son's favorite movie right now.
Well, Coraline's maybe a little more.
It's a little darker.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he would pick it up.
2009 release.
Is that when it
Wow,
was?
10 years ago.
10. So Scarlett was like 7.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Holy cow.
Kang and Kodos. Know about them? They were in the video games, right? They're the aliens. They basically are in every year's version. They're somewhere in there. And they're not so much on the episodes of the actual show,
Yeah.
but they're always in the Treehouse of Horror ones.
I love Kang and Kodos.
They just this year for San Diego Comic-Con released a 2-pack of their Funko. So there's a Funko version of those two guys.
For real.
And this year there are 5 Treehouse of Horror Simpsons Funkos as well. So there's Homer as King Kong.
Okay.
There's Marge. She's like a blue panther. She's like basically her whole hair, and she looks like a panther.
Okay.
So that's from one.
Okay.
There was Lisa was a devil.
I remember this.
Maggie was an alien, and Bart was the fly.
Yes.
So those are all pretty iconic ones from that run. And then I was going to have you talk about this a little bit. These are considered non-canon episodes.
Oh.
So explain to the folks what non-canon versus canon.
So canon means like happens within the timeline. So they will be able to refer back to it in future episodes or whatever. Like it affects the real life timeline of the Simpsons episodes, the world that they live in. So Earth 1 or whatever they want to call it, Simpsons 1.
Okay.
Non-canon then means they're just like an Elseworlds. It just another story, but it never happened within the regular timeline.
The first episode was inspired by EC Comics from the 40s and 50s, which
Yes.
is where Tales from the Crypt came from.
Yep.
Right? That's their
Yes.
most famous. And there was like a big run of horror comics, back in that time frame. Been like pre-Vietnam War?
Pre-Vietnam, like late 50s, early 60s. So
Kind of like when people were rediscovering Universal monsters, probably, right?
Yep.
So there was a comic book run, and that was a lot of them, but that was the first episode was inspired by those comics.
So many good, so many good, just pre-code, so pre-comic code. So before somebody was actually looking at them and approving, like, okay, this is okay for kids to read or not.
Right, with
or,
a rating system or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and some of those, like and I watch those online because I don't own. I own some from the 70s, House of Secrets, and some of those Phantom Stranger, but early stuff so hard to buy.
Yeah.
It's a huge collector market for it right now, especially Tales from the Crypt.
I think there was another episode they were talking about. There's one where they did like a 3D animation version.
Yep.
And that was up for, I think, Emmys or something like that because of just the style of animation. Like was from 94, 95.
I remember
it was
that
like 3D versions, and then like they got crushed and didn't win. And the guy that put them up for the director of the episode felt bad that he even nominated it because they didn't even get close to winning. So it was like the last time they put an episode in for an award.
There was a thing behind the wall, like behind the portal behind the bookcase, and Homer walked through, and it was like that. Kind of that early to mid 90s sort of
like Lawnmower Man.
Exactly.
Remember that?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. That kind of 3D animation or whatever.
It was like the first time you saw virtual reality, and it was like
Homer melted at one point. Like it was pretty groundbreaking for the time. I wonder what it lost to. That's interesting.
I don't know. I could look it up. I didn't see.
I always like when they do the parodies with Family Guy. Be cool if they did a Treehouse of Horrors by parodying in Family Guy with it.
Yeah, it'd be a crossover or something like that. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
So that's my research that I did. I did just on that stuff.
Huh.
Treehouse of Horror coming up.
I love Treehouse of Horror. That's one that I don't miss. I like that.
Appointment viewing.
Yep. Even though
Yeah.
I don't necessarily watch The Simpsons religiously anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, after however many seasons, 30 plus.
31. We're on 31 seasons.
Unbelievable.
I remember in 1990, I went to Kansas City with my best friend Daryl Rivers, who I'm still hanging out with.
Yeah.
And we went down. It was like spring break. And I went with his family. And his family was way more allowing of stuff than mine was. So, like, I couldn't watch The Simpsons at my house, but his parents could.
Oh.
That sort of stuff. I
Yep.
was in 5th grade.
Sure.
So we roll down there. We go to this big mall in Kansas City. And there's a T-shirt. A Simpsons T-shirt. And I'm like, I'm going to buy that. My mom gave me some money. And Daryl's mom said, are you sure you can have that? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I bought it. It was a family picture T-shirt.
Okay.
And then I took it home, and my mom would not let me wear it. So wasted that $25.
That's a waste of
But that's how long ago that was. I was in 5th grade when it first came on.
5th grade.
Yeah.
I was slightly older than that. Slightly. So
6th grade. We'll go with that.
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Dolan was -10.
Yes, I think it was more than -10, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So young.
Sheesh.
Schools were also very much against The Simpsons. I had a Bart Simpson on a skateboard. Wore it to school. I had to turn it inside out.
Same here. I had one that it said, "Don't have a cow, man."
Yep.
And I had to turn it inside out.
There was a big thing about T-shirts back then.
Yeah.
I had like maybe junior high. I had a Marge Simpson one. She had a necklace, a pearl necklace, and she was holding up a plate of slop on whatever, and said "Mom of the Year" on it. And I wore that one pretty religiously.
Yeah.
Golly.
I had a sweet knockoff shirt. Same sort of deal. Salina, Kansas was like 50 miles away, and we would go down there. Me and my friend in high school, my best friend John Dietrich, who's same thing. His parents were rarely around, and so we could do whatever we wanted. We would drive down to Salina all the time, and there was a knockoff T-shirt store in the mall, and it was like Marge. It was Homer. No, it was Bart and Lisa on a black shirt, just like a black shirt. But like Bart had like a collar on, and Lisa like a dog collar, and like
she was
Lisa
leading
was
with a
holding
chain.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Like some gimp sexual stuff
kind
there
of
on that
weird.
T-shirt.
Yeah, weird. And I wore that, but then I couldn't wear it to school. So
Boy.
I know, but
That
that
used
was
to be the thing.
That was a cultural thing back then. Like that
Oh,
was
people don't understand.
no.
And all the references, like still. I was watching it was about a month ago when I went on my fishing trip.
Yeah.
We watched old Simpsons episodes, like the one with XL Homer. Like classic stuff. Like they don't make that stuff anymore.
When he wanted to work from home, he wanted to get disability. Yeah.
Yep.
And he had the little red, the little bird that had the thing that would push the button for him, the vent button or whatever.
And then now we work at home anytime.
You don't wear a muumuu like he did, though.
Uh,
Well, okay, maybe.
it's not so flowery.
Maybe.
We should probably find some Duff beer for a future episode.
Ooh, that stuff's bad.
Is there really? Does it exist?
Yeah, they make it in Mexico, I think.
Oh,
And they also have it now. Whatever, is it Disney that owns Fox now
Sure.
or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have it at that. There's like an installation at whatever those theme parks is. They have like a Moe's bar. You can go in and drink it and stuff.
I've been
And they
there.
brew it there.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never had it, but I've been to Moe's. I've been to like the.
Do they have a Quickie Mart?
There's a Quickie Mart there. Well, it's probably closed now. That's
No one's working at it.
No, Apu got deported.
Yep.
There's a Simpsons virtual reality ride there. I want to say this is Universal Studios.
Okay.
I think there's a Simpsons virtual reality ride, and I almost got like motion sick on that thing. Like almost barfed on in the little motion car.
You would just sound like Barney.
Yes. Hey, Homer. If you had okay. So last before we get to the Untapped, if you have
Yeah.
to pick a favorite Simpsons character, who would your favorite Simpsons character be?
Boy, dude, are you talking like reoccurring all the time or?
I guess of all time. Yeah, of all time.
Oh my gosh. Well, probably Krusty.
Krusty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Krusty's great because he toes that line of being a dick, And then sometimes he's got a little softness underneath, and and he had a pet monkey that smoked cigarettes, which was freaking the first album my band ever had. That monkey's on the cover of it. Dolan, I'll show it to you sometime.
His monkey that smoked cigarettes was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's me.
You got a favorite?
Unequivocally, it'd be Bart. Just growing up from the childhood, and
Yeah.
I had the characters, and I've still got a Bart Simpson doll from when I was 5th grade, 6th grade, whatever.
All right.
Won it out of a vending machine.
Like a claw machine or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
There you
Dolan.
go.
Maggie.
Yeah, you're the baby of this group, that's for sure.
No, I
Oh.
feel like she's always like super smart and nobody knows.
She's also shot Mr. Burns.
She did shoot Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of his fault. He was trying to take her sucker.
He was trying to take her candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get what you deserve.
I feel like that's where Family Guy got Stewie from.
Probably.
From Maggie?
From Maggie. Yeah.
Just a verbal Maggie.
Yeah.
What about you, comic book guy?
Excellent.
I loved Comic Book Guy.
Yeah.
Worst episode ever. But no, my favorite's definitely Hank Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio.
Whoa.
Right here,
Yep.
behind me here.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So I met Mike Worley. I've met him a few times. The guy that draws the Simpsons comic for Bongo Comics. Comes to Omaha all the time. Has ties here somehow. I don't even know how. But Hank Scorpio, the Globex episode was probably my favorite of all time.
I think one time I saw a guy dressed up like Disco Stew,
Yeah.
and that was amazing. Dr. Nick's great. Like, there's just so many. There's just so many episodes.
There's
There's
so
so
many
many
good ones.
characters.
So my first pseudo business ever, outside of like selling baseball cards and selling golf balls and things like that, right? My first business was called Globex
Really?
in honor of Hank Scorpio. Yes.
Wow.
Yep. So there you go.
We
So
got
that's-
into the weeds here a little
We
bit.
kind of did, yeah.
That's all right.
All right, so let's go to the Untapped
Yeah.
and see. Let's start with summer first. What do you think? 7,583
That's a lot of check-ins
There's
for
a lot.
beers that we can't get.
For a seasonal that you can only get there, yes.
I bet you it's 4-3.
4-8.
434. Right on.
Dang.
I'd almost say you cheated there, but that's...
No, I don't even have my phone with me.
Let's see. Now we'll go look up. Julius might be an interesting one. 'Cause
I bet it's even higher.
I bet it is too.
But
I
it's
bet
also
it's a
had
4-5.
tons more reviews.
What do you think? Okay, 106,000 check-ins.
That's not that many more though. I mean, I thought it would be way more than that.
You have not checked it. No, it's interesting. You have never checked that beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it today.
So what do you think?
4.42.
I go 4-5, 4-5-1.
452.
Dang,
Gosh.
that's pretty good. Anything that you can
is-
average over a 4.5 is. I mean, that's Pliny. That's where Pliny. That's under Pliny's rating.
Yeah, on 100,000 check-ins. 100,000 people have drank this and said, this is probably one of the best beers I've ever had.
Yeah, but then we get into that area of is it that good or is it because what you're drinking?
True.
Like if we gave that to 10 people that don't know anything about beer, what would they say?
Oh,
That sounds like a really good Atlas Daily episode.
like the Pepsi challenge. You know, you remember the Pepsi challenge?
No.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Of course he doesn't.
He wasn't
remember.
alive when the Pepsi challenge happened.
They barely had Pepsi.
Is that what did they just do Pepsi and then generic and then you had to try to guess or what?
Coke and Pepsi and
Pepsi did this thing called the Pepsi challenge, and they would do it in grocery stores. And they had like blind taste test. You taste Pepsi, you taste Coke, and then you say which one you like best. And Pepsi claimed to have won this.
That was BS.
I don't know.
I like Pepsi over Coke.
Would you choose it in a blind taste test though?
If I had to choose companies, I would choose Dr. Pepper. But if I had to choose Pepsi
What?
versus Coke, Pepsi.
I mean, that's not even the same thing.
I don't even think it's the same thing. No.
I choose Coke.
I would choose Mr. Pibb if that was the case, but I don't know.
What about RC Cola?
I drank that religiously in middle school.
Yeah.
That was a good cheap one.
Little known fact, RC Cola also made Sam's Cola back in the day. The Walmart Sam's
yeah.
Cola.
I think they also made Shasta
Oh, interesting.
way back when.
Yeah. They all taste the same anyway.
So that show I probably told you about before, Brew Dogs. They do that where they take craft beer and they give it to people that don't normally drink it, and then they talk about it if they like it or not. But
Kinda
they
like-
have to be like people that don't have an Untapped account
Oh, like just like my wife, like somebody off the street.
Yep.
Right. That
And that's
just
what they do.
wouldn't-
They go up to a busy street corner and they pour some out and they, here you go. What do you think of this? And then they record it and talk
I'm
about
telling
it.
you, we can get some people in the office who aren't craft beer drinkers and do
Yep.
the same thing.
I think that's a good idea.
It'd be kind of fun.
Don't
Done.
steal our ideas.
Done. Well, we stole theirs, but they'll never find out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sorry, Pepsi Challenge.
Yep.
That was in the 80s, so it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
So, all right, Mike Combs, thank you so much for bringing us this
Yeah, these
beer.
were amazing. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
This was really good. I'll be at your house at about 5 o'clock tonight to drink the rest of them.
Sounds good. We have plenty.
All right, there you go. So,
Plenty.
Yeah, I like it. That's, man,
That's a strong word around Rich and Brian.
that is
I know.
true.
It sounds like a challenge
We
to
have,
Rich.
Brian, we've drank some really good beers here. That's
Yeah, we have. I mean, just off that list I read, right? So the top 15, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the 15 just in these episodes.
And
Which, by the way, that Wanapoo that's on there.
Yeah.
What number are they from Cigar
3.
City?
They're
3.
3.
I've got 3 bottles at home.
I mean, this guy's showing off
See,
now.
showing off.
Just thinking future episode.
We've got some good stuff coming up. I don't want to tease too much, but
Ooh, I like getting teased.
Yeah?
Tease me. What's going
here
on?
we go. Recruiter Eric Scheid's going to join us here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do the Tech 9 beer
Oh, Boulevard.
from Boulevard.
Yeah.
So, a little known fact, recruiter Eric Scheid actually opened for Tech 9 when he came to town years ago. Eric is a up and coming rapper.
Titus Young. Right?
Titus Hustle.
Hustle.
Titus Hustle.
Yes.
Well, you can see Titus
wow.
Hustle drop some Old Town Road bars on
He sure did.
the healthcare, the Atlas Music Club. Yeah.
The Healthcare Travelers Music Club, Dolan.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Hosted by Brian Peterson.
Yeah, Dolan.
There you go. We also have 4 weeks worth of Oktoberfest coming up too. I love Oktoberfest beers.
It's so weird because they're so malty, and yet you don't like West Coast IPAs. This doesn't make no sense to me.
It
We're
makes-
going to get into it, I think.
I think so. I
All
think
right.
we will. So good stuff coming up here towards the end of the year for a beer with Atlas. Thanks again.
Hey, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer. Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.